In our last episode, we looked at how the aftermath of the Nigeria-Biafra War dealt a severe economic blow to the Igbo people. Through policies such as the £20 policy, abandoned property, many families lost businesses, savings, and economic opportunities. But despite these setbacks, the story did not end there. Over the decades that followed, the Igbo people rebuilt. So how did the region that lost so much recover and once again become one of the most commercially active regions in Nigeria and even beyond? Number one is the town unions, rebuilding from the ground up. After the war, many communities across the East faced the challenge of rebuilding homes, markets, schools, and roads.
In a war-damaged schoolroom open to the grey skies of the rainy season, Igbo children take up their lessons after the Civil War.
His name is Gowan. G-O-W-N, Gowan.
And with little reconstruction support from the federal government, many communities relied on their town unions and community development organizations to fill the gap. So drawing on the Igbo tradition of communalism and self-help, towns mobilized funds from residents and the diaspora through donations, levies, and collective labor. A notable example was the Amakofia Development Union in Ututu, Abia State, established in 1979. Across Igbo land, these organizations became the backbone of grassroots development, infrastructure investments, and major drivers of economic recovery. The second is the Igba boy, rebuilding wealth through apprenticeship. One of the most effective tools for recovery was the Igbo apprenticeship system, popularly known as Igba boy. Traders who had the means and capital to do business after the war gave opportunities to young people to serve and learn under them for years in exchange for training, network, and startup capital. Once established, the new entrepreneurs took on their own apprentices as well, creating a pipeline for people who ordinarily would have no way of starting their own business. The system spread wealth, created jobs, and rebuilt commercial networks across Igbo land. Its influence can be seen in entrepreneurs such as Cosmos Madoka, Innocent Chukwuma, and Cletus Ibeto, while thousands of other traders helped transform cities like Nnewi, Onitsha, and Aba into major commercial centers. Number three is the social clubs, recovering through collective support. Social clubs also became important platforms for rebuilding economic and social connections. One of the most notable was the People's Club of Nigeria, founded in Aba in 1971 by Titus Ume Ezoki. Built around the principle of Onyahala, do not leave your brother behind, it created a network of financial and professional support. Members would share business risk, stand as guarantors for each other's loans, and share business networks among themselves. According to the cultural historian Benedict Okoro, the club helped develop an economic template that aided post-war recovery and contributed to the popularization of the Igbo apprenticeship system. The next is the diaspora networks, rebuilding across borders. Recovery was not limited to those living within Nigeria. In the years following the war, Igbo diaspora networks became an important pillar of reconstruction. Through remittances, community levies, and donations to hometown associations, diaspora Igbos financed schools, health centers, markets, roads, electricity projects, and other community infrastructure. Diaspora traders also help reconnect Igbo commerce to regional and global markets. Business networks operating across West Africa, Europe, North America, and Asia created trade links that facilitated the flow of goods, capital, and business opportunities back to southeastern Nigeria. Now, working closely with town unions and community development organizations, these networks helped revive local economies and accelerate economic growth. And the next is the foreign partnerships, reconnecting to global markets. Another important factor in the recovery of the Igbo economy was the ability of local entrepreneurs to build international business partnerships. After the war, many business owners lacked the capital needed to restart operations. To overcome this challenge, they secured distributorships, agency agreements, and representation rights from foreign firms, particularly manufacturers in Japan and Taiwan. In commercial centers such as Onitsha, Aba, Nnewi, these partnerships provided access to inventory, credit facilities, technical knowledge, and established supply chains. Nnewi became one of the strongest examples of this model. From the 1970s through the 1980s, local traders built strong relationships with Asian manufacturers, particularly in the motor spare parts industry. Many eventually moved beyond importing and distributing products to manufacturing them locally. This pathway helped produce industrialists as Cletus Ibeto, Innocent Chukwuma, and Alexander Chiko Kafo. The rebuilding of the Igbo economy was not driven by a single policy or institution. It was a result of community action, apprenticeship, diaspora support, social networks, and entrepreneurship working together over several decades. From the devastation of war emerged new businesses, new industries, and new opportunities, making the post-war recovery of the Igbo economy one of the most remarkable stories of resilience in modern Nigerian history. Which of these rebuilding strategies do you think had the greatest impact? Let us know in the comments, share this video with someone who should hear this story, and follow for more historical stories connected to the Biafran War.